Thanks, guys. I feel like I thought that they were gonna click the slide for us, and I was like, we have a sidekick, a speaker sidekick, and now we have someone to click our slides. That's pretty awesome. I want to do this every day. I'm so honored to be here. I am one of the luckiest young people in the world, and I can tell you my life story, and you'll agree with me. But obviously, that's gonna take me years. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you a couple of stories that has shaped the way that I've lived my life. And I'm really glad the two speakers had actually put out the background around young people, and Lynn just nailed it in. Why do we have to live to a point where we hit midlife crisis and start questioning the purpose of our life? Why do men spend half their life chasing money, sacrificing their health, and then spend the rest of their life chasing health and sacrificing their money? So that's one thing that I never understand. The other thing that I never understand that I still find really confusing is the whole idea of home. I came from Malaysia, and I lived in about 7 different cities in the last 8 years. So the whole idea of home is a question that I constantly get asked. I just recently returned from Italy, and someone said, "Welcome home." And I was like, cool, where's home? I've been really lucky to be able to call many places home over the last few years. And home is a very, very I guess, an issue that's really close to me, because I often call everywhere home. Because to me, home is where you feel a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, a sense of trust. And you know that someone's going to look after you at home, and you know that you're being loved unconditionally. Home to me was very different many, many years ago. When I say many years ago, it wasn't that long ago. I grew up in this tiny town called Kuching on the island of Borneo in Malaysia. My dad wasn't earning a lot of money, so we didn't have a lot, but at the same time, we had a lot to share. I am a kid who was raised by a village. I grew up in a neighborhood where everyone shares everything with everyone. We shared meals, we shared clothes, we shared books. I went to school with books from my neighbors, brothers, sisters, cousins, someone. And I wore uniforms that belongs to my cousin's cousin's cousin. We never know where it came from. However, life was great. I absolutely loved it. And the other thing that we do in Malaysia, or in my culture, is every morning we open up our house. We open all the doors and windows. So when I first moved to Australia, it's a bit of a change. Because all the doors are closed and windows are closed. And I often think, maybe I should close my doors and windows because there has to be a reason for this happening. But growing up in such an environment taught me a lot. It teaches me a lot about what it means to be giving and sharing. And giving is one thing that really, really became stuck with me. And I volunteered a lot. And my mom, I would call myself an active volunteer when I was young, but my mom would call me slightly obsessed, because she had to wake up at 4 a.m. sometimes just to pick me up and send me to volunteer duties. And if disasters call, I used to volunteer for disaster response as well. When disaster happens at 3 a.m., you have to get out at 3 a.m. and go cook for the hundreds of people. And that really helped me, I guess, in some ways, molded the life that I live today. I still give, and I constantly give, and I still share. And I'm a big advocate for sharing and collaborative consumption. The other thing that happened was on November 13, 2002, apart from it being one of my good friend's wedding, I was 16, I was hip and cool, and I was, I guess, slightly irresponsible. So on November 13, I came home from a 3-day awesome holiday at this beautiful resort with about 13 of my best friends. We were classmates, we booked a chalet, and we decided that we're going to have the best time for 3 days because the parents are not around. And when you're 16 years old, you know what you do when you're 16 years old. You were there. And I got home, I was really tired because I didn't sleep for 2 nights. So I crashed in bed. I literally passed out in bed. I woke up at around 7:30, got a couple of phone calls, but I decided to ignore it and went back to bed. The next day I woke up, I checked my phone. I used to have that old shitty Nokia thing. And it can only receive 3 more text messages because it's full. You were there. I've got 15 missed calls. So the first text message said, "Have you had a sad news?" And the second one was a sad face, ... And the third one says, "Call me as soon as possible." And I called that number. And on the phone was one of my really good friend. And he was crying, and the only thing that I could hear through the mumbles were Ryan, something, something, swimming, something, something, cramp, something, something, hospital. And he passed away. And he passed away. And those three words didn't register in my mind because as a 16-year-old, you're not supposed to be grieving for someone's death. You're not supposed to be facing death. You're supposed to be hip and cool. You're supposed to be irresponsible. You're supposed to be experiment with stuff, and you're supposed to try new stuff. But at 16 years old, I had to come to terms with my best friend's death. He was more than my best friend. He was in many, many ways my brother, because I didn't have a brother. And in many, many ways, he was my mentor. He taught me a lot of things that I didn't know. And the first time I saw his death body, I saw myself dead. And I asked myself, why is this happening to me? And when you're faced with sudden death, which I assume that some of you guys would have gone through, a couple of things happen. The first one is you start to reflect inwards and backwards. You regret for the things that you didn't do, the amount of sorry, thank you, I love you that you didn't say because it wasn't cool. The amount of time that you forget to tell someone how much you appreciated their help. And sudden death also forces you to think forward. And you start to question life, and which I did. If I'm going to live to die, that's where we all ending up with, why am I living? Why the hell am I living? And questions like this help me to understand that what truly matters at the end of the day is not the fame, fortune, wealth, or status. What truly matters is the significance that you're playing in bettering the lives of people around you. And in many ways, I'm really lucky to have that experience because that has helped me guide the life that I live today. I'm one of the luckiest young people because I get paid to do the things I love doing, which technically I don't really do anything. I just jump from projects to projects and keep doing awesome stuff. And recently, I just picked up a job where my job is just to meet people and talk and connect ideas, resources to amplify and accelerate innovation. And I absolutely love it. And I've done many, many stuff. But 3 months ago, I did a campaign called Soften the Fuck Up. I had a vision where I wanted to be a campaign that's co-created by a group of men. So I told my friend about it, and my friend was like, "You're on crack." And I said, "No, I'm going to take guys who have been through difficult times, and I'm going to make them honest. I'm going to put them in the spotlight and make them honest, and it has to be co-created. I'm not going to tell them what to do. They're going to tell me what they want to do, and we're going to create something amazing together. Something that's bigger than myself, something that's bigger than them, and something that's bigger than the cause. Because when you create a space for people to reconstruct their stigmatized experiences, they do amazing things. And when you bring people together and empower them to do things in their own ways, they make magic happen." And we put the campaign together. We had an amazing time. And I swear to God, I've got stories that makes me cry almost every single night for 3 months. If you want to see the product, go to our website. But here's a sneak peek of the video.
Think you're a big man?
A real Aussie bloke?
Okay, so how do you think you'll die?
Did you know
The biggest killer
for men aged 14 to 44 is suicide?
Suicide.
Close to 80%.
80%
Of all suicides are men.
It's more than road accidents.
violence,
Cancer.
drinking, bungee jumping.
Really?
Yep.
So, what are you going to do about it?
Now what are we going to do about it?
It's about time you took a teaspoon of cement.
And soften. Soften.
Soften the fuck up.
What do you mean, harden the fuck up?
No, we mean soften
The fuck
up.
I've been through depression.
I've been through drug addiction. I've been through domestic violence.
I've been through a tough time.
The worst.
Everyone goes through a tough time.
And if you're going through a tough time,
You know what you need to do?
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
seriously,
Talk about it.
Just talk about it.
Open your mouth and speak.
To who?
It could be anyone.
Your mates.
your family,
Your GP. Your neighbour.
The postman. Cat's work, sort of.
I did have depression.
I did have a drug addiction.
I did have a tough time. With the help of people around me.
I got through it.
We got through it.
You can too.
There is just one little thing that you need to do first.
And that softened the fuck up.
Just a bit.
"31 men who we think they're apathetic, they don't care about society, they don't participate in stuff. 31 men who has been through difficult times, 31 men who has faced suicide made this happen. And to me, that really reaffirms my belief that when you believe in someone and you empower them to do something amazing, they do it. And it reminds me of back home, is that at the end of the day, what home is everyone wants a sense of purpose. Everyone wants a sense of belonging. Everyone wants to be understood. And everyone wants to have that safe place where they can express themselves and be themselves and unleash their potential. And so 31 men put this together, and I can tell you that I'm more proud of the entire process of putting this campaign together than I am of the product. Because to me, the product doesn't matter, although it's amazing. All the videos, the website, the posters, and everything is freaking amazing. But it's the people that has been touched and the process of making all that happen that blew me away. I've got emails from guys who are 65 all the way to a 13-year-old from a high school in Canberra. And it's just been one of the most amazing time of my life. I've never been more tired and more poor and sleepless, but I've never been happier. On the day that we launched on July 15th, so today is almost 1 day and 3 months, I got this email from this 32-year-old guy, Rob. One of the great things that has happened in my life in the last 2 years has been my family growing. My daughter is 11 months and 1 day old. I live for her now. And it's because of her that I work hard not to allow myself to get dragged back into that pit of despair that is anxiety and depression. What has helped me keep my head in the right frame over the last few months has been soften the fuck up. I've had the opportunity to write some things that have helped me immensely and I hope have helped others too. I'm proud of what I've been able to do, albeit the small part of the work that has gone into launching Soften the Fuck Up. And a couple of months after we launched, I got this in my email. I tried to take my life twice. These suicide attempts, not surprisingly, were the lowest points in my 26-year life. They were not cries for help. They were not attention-seeking. I was seriously ill, and I genuinely wanted to die, to end my pain, and what I thought was the pain of my friends and family. If I had not been found, I might not be here to write this story. Soften the Fuck Up is one of the best things I've been involved in. I wish I had found something like it a lot earlier in my life. Maybe it would have helped me to tell my mates or my family about the pain and confusion I had felt since I was a teenager. That really nailed down to me the power of the collective. The power of the collective. And I want you to remember that, the power of the collective. So all these experiences has really helped me guide my life, and I hope these stories has also inspired you in some ways. Today is going to be a very full and inspiring day for you, because I know you guys will be floating with ideas, and you just want to get out there and save the world and change the world for me and my generation. But more importantly, I want you guys to do something. Ideas is not enough, and no idea is good enough until you've executed. I had an idea. I had a simple, humble little idea, and it's turned out into this monster thing where every 3 months I get told that I've been named something and I've got this award and all this thing. I don't want you guys to think about solving problems. And I don't want you guys to think about solving all the world issues. What I want you guys to think about is when you go home, imagine a better future. What is that future? How does that future look like? I don't want you to think about what's the current problem that we need to solve. What's the future that you want to see in the world? And I want you guys to start that today, because we need to start designing for the future and not concentrate and focus solely on solving problems. We will never get to a better future if we do that. I know that all this sound very hippie-ish and every almost perfect world. And I have to admit, yes, humanity has lost its way. We have lost our way. We've been poisoned by greed. We've been filled with hate. All this anti-something and trying to hate something rather than promote something positive. And we've shut ourselves in. I'm individualistic and thinking about ourselves and being selfish. But and we also created segregation. We think that the social sector is better than the corporate sector, the government sector. We try to build all these disciplines and try to segregate everyone. We think about charity, I'm helping you, I'm better than you. And we think about clients and stuff like that. And we need to change that mindset, because what has brought us here in the last decade is not going to bring us to the next century. What's going to bring us to the next century, to me, is reconnecting humanity, what it means to be alive. That capacity for love, compassion, empathy, and kindness. And as much evil there is in the world, I want you guys to remember that the nature of being human is our capacity for empathy, love, compassion, and kindness. And regardless of what you do from today onwards, what truly matters is your contribution back to the humanity. And we've seen that in the recent events, the Queensland flood, the London riot, the Arab Spring. You all know that. And I'm going to leave you with this message. Is as you go away, remember that everyone wants to be at home. No one wants to be homeless. Home is where we find a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging, a sense of trust. As we become more hyper-connected, what's going to be more valuable is those things, those deep trusts, and those real friendship. Home is where we find love, we find compassion, and we find hope. I hope you carry away today with you a seed of hope and inspiration, a seed of hope and inspiration for a better future. And remembering our mortality, I hope that you guys use this fleeting moment that you have on earth to better the life of others and create homes for people and build tribes so that people can work together to co-create better futures. Thank you very much.